Let's review the points we've covered in the daily checklist. First, check the temperatures and pressure and make sure that they are reasonable and that the leaf temperature thermocouple is in the correct position. If you are measuring leaf temperature, you want to make sure that the thermocouple is about 1 millimeter above the surface of the gasket. If you're using energy balance to calculate leaf temperature, you want to make sure the thermocouple is pulled a couple of millimeters below the surface of the leaf. That way, the leaf thermocouple will be measuring air temperature near the leaf rather than the leaf temperature. You will want to check your pressure sensor and make sure the readings are reasonable. Listen for your leaf fan and make sure you can hear the sound changing as you turn the leaf fan on and off. To test for maximum flow, make sure the flow setting is at least 850 micromoles per second or higher, and then check for chemical tube flow restrictions by moving the knobs from full bypass to full scrub position. To check the flow zero, turn the pump and chamber fan off and make sure the flow drops to within 2 micromoles per second of zero. If the flow is outside this range, then you can go to the calibration menu to adjust it. When you are checking the CO2 erga zero, make sure that the values are within about 5 parts per million of zero. If they are outside this range, wait a few minutes and see if the values are declining. If not, then go to the calibration menu, erga zero menu, and adjust the zeros there. If your chemicals are not fresh, you will do more harm than good by using them when you set the zeros. The erga zeros are quite stable, especially in the absence of big temperature changes. Therefore, the exercise of checking zeros daily is really a diagnostic. If the indicated concentration does not change when it should, that is, if it doesn't drop when you start scrubbing, then it's good to find that out early, before you start taking data. Water ergas should be within about 0.3 millimole per mole of zero within about 5 minutes. The sample erga may take a much longer time to reach this value. Rather than wait the 10 or 20 minutes to get a really good zero, use your own judgment. If after a minute or so the reference is down to 0.2 or 0.3 and falling slowly, that's good enough. The sample will be higher than that. If it's negative and falling after only 1 minute, it will be going too low, and a re-zero may be in order. When you're adjusting the leaf temperature zero, make sure that the leaf and a block temperature are no more than 1/10 of a degree apart. If they're more than this, you should adjust the leaf temperature potentiometer. To check for chamber leaks, exhale near the chamber like you were blowing out a candle. CO2 samples should increase by no more than a few parts per million. If they increase more than that, then you need to check for chamber leaks. And remember, it's easier to see leaks at lower flow rates like 200 micromoles per second. And last, before you leave the preparation checklist, you need to match the ergas. You should match at the beginning of the day before you start your measurements, as well as about every 30 minutes throughout the day, as long as you keep the same CO2 concentration. If you change CO2 concentrations, you should rematch your ergas.